Alright there guys, I'm going to be showing you some of the best mods to use for building projects in Minecraft. That's small scale stuff, just from sort of little day-to-day stuff, or like massive projects like the Hotcraft, stuff like that, the recreations, massive castles, all that kind of stuff. So not just building stuff and like massive terrain editing, all that sort of stuff. So there's 5 mods that I want to show you. So we'll get right on. Alright, so the first mod that I want to show you is called Too Many Items, and it's simply an inventory editor for Minecraft. It allows you to spawn in every single possible block that there is in the game, more than the ones just shown in, for example, the creative mode of Minecraft, so it's better than that. It lets you spawn anything in, including any ones that are brought in from a mod. So let's say you have Industrial Craft installed, it will automatically realise that there's blocks from Industrial Craft, and you'll be able to spawn those in easily. So something which creative mode doesn't do. So it's definitely better than that. It allows you to kind of sort your inventory easily as well. It's got a delete function, so you can quickly delete everything in your inventory. You can select a little delete just one sort of stack of stuff. So it's great for keeping your inventory clear when you're building and stuff like that. It also has the ability to save different inventories. So for example, for Hogcraft, you may have seen that I've got one which is all the tools I need for redstone, just laid out in my inventory, and I've got that saved as one of my inventories. So whenever I need to do redstone work, I can just switch to that, and I've got all the redstone tools that I need, all the blocks I need in my inventory ready to use. As of late, it's got a new feature where you can switch to creative mode. So if you don't want to install other mods for, let's say, for flying and stuff like that, you can switch to creative mode and use that, as well as still using too many items to bring in the items that you want. So it's a good combination. You'd be able to fly and build and bring in stuff from mods or the blocks and stuff like that. So it's a great little mod for that. As of late as well, you can also change the time, control the time from like morning till night and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a great little mod, easy to install. It's only just one sort of installation. There's no other requirements to install it. So that's Too Many Items. With all these mods, I'll put a link to the description where you can download them. Okay, the second mod I want to talk about is Zombies Mod Pack. It's a collection of 26 mods made by some guy who isn't zombie. His name is Tanzanite, so I don't know where the zombie come from. But yeah, it's a very good collection of mods. Not all of them are related to building, so I'm just going to go over the things which help with building. For starters, one of the best things in it is the ability to fly mod. It's got a great fly mod, better than the equivalent in creative mode. It's not using the sort of the movement key buttons to move out. You can set your own key combinations to go up and down, forward, backwards, stuff like that. But what it also comes with is the ability to no-clip through stuff. So for example, instead of having to blocks, basically you can just go through. You can fly through walls, everything like that. So it's great for large-scale builds, getting to a certain point where you need to go. It's great for stuff like that. So it's got a great flying mod. One of the other great things it has is something called the Builder mod. And basically what that does is any block, well, firstly destroying anything, you destroy it in pretty much one punch. So it's very quick to destroy anything, stuff like that. It also increases your reach when you're destroying stuff, which is good as well. You can build further away and stuff like that. It's great for like when you're building walls and stuff like that. One of the other things from the building mod is basically it stops you from running out of whatever item you're using. Let's say you've only got one brick block and you want to make a wall of 4. As soon as you place down one brick block, it will replenish itself with another brick block, so you basically never run out of the resource you're using. So it's great for that. It also has some better time controls than Too Many Items. It allows you to pause time, so time will always stay at, let's say, noon. You can have it stay at the exact same time for the whole time you're building. It's great for when you're building so that you can view everything. It doesn't switch to night, stuff like that. You can then also use whatever keys you set to change the time quickly, go in little stages so that you can set it exactly the time you want. So that's great for the Zombie Mod Pack. That's the kind of features that I used in it. So yeah, it's again going to be in the description, so you can download this as you want. Now all these mods that I'm talking about, by the way, can all be combined together. I use them all together, but if you want, you can just download them separately, stuff like that. But yep, we'll go on with the next one. Okay, well the next mod I want to go to is McEdit. A lot of you probably heard about this. You might not know what it is, and it's gone through a lot of changes recently because the person that originally developed it has stopped developing it. Basically, he said he didn't have enough time. His income from it wasn't like worth the time he had to put into it, which is understandable. It takes a lot of effort to do these things. But since then, he released it as a source code, and so it's been taken over by other modders, and they've updated it to the new world format Anvil. So basically, McEdit is an external mod. It doesn't actually mod the game itself, but what it is, it's a very good sort of mass building application. So as you can see, you can load up your worlds. So I'm going to load up this test one that I've made, and as you can see, it shows everything from the world. It also loads up it in the current texture pack that you're using. So if you're using a custom texture pack, it loads up that instead of just the default. And with it, basically, you can edit worlds very simply. It has a great range of tools. You can do stuff from using a combination of brushes to add mountains and stuff like that to your effect. You can copy and paste massive areas and repeat it. So it's great for if you're building structures with repetitive areas. You can use it to repeat certain bits. So for example, part of the Hogcraft, the bridge going into the place, I built one segment of it and then repeated it all along because it was the same all the way. So I repeated it all along, and it made things easier, quicker, simpler to get it exactly the same and make it look good. I can make little changes and repeat it simply. It's also got a really good fill and replace. So basically, if there's a massive area, let's say made of dirt, and I want to get rid of make a massive room underground or something, I can select this massive area and replace all the dirt in there with air, or I can just replace everything with air to have a massive square room. You can set it so it only replaces certain things. For example, recently I had to take an area that I'd made in the end, so I'd made it out of obsidian, so I got rid of everything else. I selected fill and replace all the end stone with air so that I could just select the obsidian. So it's great like that. It also has a filter, so you can remove everything except a certain item, so it's the same as the fill and replace of get rid of everything else. It also has what's great called importing and exporting. So for example, you can save a certain design as a schematic. So for example, I can make a building and export it as a schematic, which McEdit would save, and then I could re-import it later, and I could put it into another world, put it into another place, anything like that. So it's a great way to save buildings or structures that you're going to use repeatedly. It's a great way to do that. You can also make adjustments to the player. You can move where their current location is within a world. So let's say I'm like underground, I want to move my character to the surface, or if I want to choose where he is for the start of an adventure map, I can do that. You can also edit the player's spawn, which is also again great for if you're doing adventure maps and stuff like that. It's also got chunk control, so you can reload chunks, create new chunks, etc., etc. So that's McEdit. It's still in sort of beta stages of the new world format. Not the new world format, the new sort of application to go with the new world format, because it had to make some changes to go into Anvil. And the people who are redoing it are they're sort of refreshing the whole code, because I think they commented saying that the way that it was done before was messy, which is understandable seeing it was a one-man project, but seeing as now I think there's a team of people doing it, it all needs to be sort of redone, which is great. It'll be a help for the future. I mean, it'll be able to be what's the word? It'll work better in future. It'll be a better application, and we'll probably hopefully have more features and stuff like that. Now the next mod I want to talk about is called Single Player Commands, and it's hundreds of mods. It's a massive sort of pack, and basically what it is the kind of chat console from multiplayer has lots of functions which you can do to edit the multiplayer world. For example, changing the time, all the different spawn items, and exactly it kind of gets bigger and bigger with different plugins you add in from Bucket and stuff like that. Now, Single Player Commands brings that sort of element to the single player world. So, for example, you have access to the chat console, which you don't normally do, and then it also brings in a range of functions that you can do, like spawning items, growing like your trees and stuff like that. You can change the time. You can set spawn points. You can warp to places. You can set set sort of bookmark places which you can warp to and stuff like that. You can find out worlding. There's literally hundreds of stuff you can find out, and although on its own it's not the best thing in the world for building, but it does come with something which I'll go into later, which does sort of help with building a lot. And some of the commands that you can use though, which do help with the buildings, the spawning items, obviously, changing times and stuff like that. Setting warp points is a really great thing, especially if you're doing large scale builds. You can just warp from point to point to point. It also has a flying mod built into it, as well as a no-clip function now. It never used to have that, and it never used to work. It used to not work in conjunction with Zombies mod, so you couldn't use the no-clips together. You couldn't use no-clip from Zombie and use single-player commands, but now they work fine together. And the single player commands has got its own no-clip technique. However, I don't like its flying mechanism. It's different to Zombies mod pack, and like when in creative mode, basically wherever you look and you press forward, that is the direction you'll go. So you can travel diagonally downwards, but it's a bit, when you're trying to get precise location, it's not the best thing in the world. So yeah, that's single player commands. I'm just going to touch on it briefly. It's because it's not on its own. It's not the best thing in the world for building. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is an add-on to single-player commands. It comes with it, so there's nothing extra that you have to do, and it's called McEdit. It used to be not sold, but sort of given out separately. You had to install it separately to single-player commands. And what it does is it allows a lot of features for editing worlds, similar to McEdit, but within the actual Minecraft game. You don't have to use an external piece of software. So it has a range of functions which you can use for building. It has some stuff like firstly brushes. I guess we'll go into brushes are, as I say, brushes which you can add, which you can bind to different tools. So for example, I always bind them to swords, diamond sword and golden sword, and you can bind, and they have the functions of basically painting the world. So you can select a sphere, let's say of like a massive size, down radius 6 the radiuses go up to. That's radius 6 blocks, and you can select a material. You can set it to mask, so that it only replaces certain items, and you can basically paint the world. You can add massive spheres. You can then use another tool called Smooth, which will render. Well, let's say you made a massive tower or a massive big circle, and it looks ugly. It doesn't really fit with the world. You can use the brush Smooth to make it blend in more with, make it look more like the natural Minecraft terrain generation, which is great for when you're building hills and stuff, because it's hard to get them to look natural. So it was great for like when I built the massive Great Lake on McEdit. I just cleared the massive area and then just used that to smooth the edges, make it look more natural. It has features like trees. You can slash tree. You can bind the tree tool to an item, and basically wherever you click, it will grow a tree. You can select the trees you want, stuff like that. You can use what's called the wand. And basically it allows you to select positions by blocks. So you'd select like the two opposite corners of, let's say, a cube you want to fill in, and then you can just type and tell it to fill in that area with a certain block type. You can set those things to be hollow. It really has a massive scope of different things you can do. I have found all the features of it because I've never looked at like the manual. So yeah, there's a massive range of features that you can use it with, and it's one of the best tools for building I've ever found. So yeah guys, those are all 5 mods that I wanted to cover. Like I said, all the links will be in the description, so you can download those and install them as you wish. They all work in conjunction with each other, none of them break each other. The functions all work for each one separately, so that's fine. There is a certain order you have to install them on if you do wish to install them. I think it's single player commands first, then zombies mod pack, and then too many items. If you don't install it like that, then too many items always needs to be last, because otherwise it won't work. I think single player commands always needs to be the first thing you install. But yeah, so if you have any more great sort of building mods that I haven't seen, or functions which I haven't gone into, then feel free to leave a comment. I'll try to go over them, show other people what mods there are which are great to use for building. And yes, just want to say thanks for watching guys, and hopefully I'll see you all soon.